Well, welcome here this evening. Thank you for being here in October, Cancer Month, appropriate for our class this month. So, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Did you guys know that it was Benjamin Franklin? I did not know that. I was like, oh, well, he was a very wise man in many ways, right? But fighting the big C. Now, let me put my little disclaimer. None of the statements I am saying are FDA approved. They're not here to diagnose, cure, treat any condition. The information I am giving you and you online is information. These are tools to use to help build your immune system, to help fight whatever may come your way. But an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, because if you never have the problem, you are much better off than having a problem. So we're going to give you I'm going to give you the tools, or some of the tools, and this is not exhaustive, obviously. There's so much that is out there, but the tools that I have found over time. So we talked about this on our last class, we were talking about inflammation, diabetes, but same charts, second leading cause of death is malignant neoplasms, cancer. That is the second leading cause of death. The number one leading cause of death is heart disease or heart issues. What I found interesting, per 100,000, 182.4. I was like, wow. So out of 100,000, 182 people will be diagnosed or die of cancer. Every one of us knows someone who's passed of cancer. Every one of us. So this, and hopefully I'm going to get through this, is my aunt. This was my first exposure, and really the only person in my family that has died of cancer. So if cancer does not part of my line, I mean, it's not unheard of, but she was not a blood relative. So she was the wife of my uncle, who was my mom's brother. Now, granted, she smoked. She was a hairdresser, exposed to chemicals her whole life. And so she got diagnosed with breast cancer in her 40s. At that point, she was no longer married to my uncle, but she was still my aunt. I mean, I grew up with her. And so I saw her go through what she went through. The chemo, the radiation, losing the hair, the weight gain, all of that. And so, cured. It was successful. She made it through. And then a number of years later, it had metastasized to her bone and to her brain, and she passed from that. So she was in her early 60s when she passed. And so this picture, I'm actually right there. That's my hair on my wedding day.
Curly.
Yeah, oh yes, it was very curly. And so I didn't know she was coming to the wedding. I got married in Hawaii. And I was getting ready, and I'm like, I miss Aunt Shireen. Her name is Shireen. And I just had been thinking about her, and I look in the doorway, and she's standing there. And the photographer got these shots of me seeing her, being surprised, and us together, and we're crying. So that's hence why I am not in the picture here, because I am a blubbering mess with tears rolling down my eyes. But this is my why. Because she was a part of me, and it was just so hard to see what she went through this whole process. So statistics, starting off with what are the numbers? And like I said, out of 100,000 people, 182 will die from cancer. So 1 in 3 people will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. That's crazy. 1 in 3. Such a small number. And then there'll be 2 million cases, new cases of cancer diagnosed this year. 2 million.
Is this world or United States? Or
United States.
United States.
United States. Common type, breast, prostate, lung, and colon melanoma. So obviously prostate, lung, and colon rectal, in women, breast, lung, and colon rectal. So that, I mean, the only difference is prostate and breast. That's the only difference. So it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what sex you are. It is across the board. Now I'm going to give you some statistics. So they're saying estimated 48% of all cancers diagnosed in men. So it'll be 48 will be prostate. For women, 51% of new cancers. So when you look at the numbers, like men will have it 48% of the time, women will have it 51% of the time when you look at that 100%. So then from there, what is cancer? I mean, we've heard of the word, but what is happening when cancer is happening? So it's abnormal cells. It's when the body, we're always processing ourselves, we're always changing ourselves, and they're dying, and then we shed them out of our body, and then new ones are created. That's how our body works. Our skin, our brain, our gut, our heart, every organ has new cells to it. But what happens is the gene sequence gets disturbed, and the old cells don't die. I mean, they die, but they don't leave the body, and they start clumping together. So that's what the way the cycle code goes. So then errors start to occur. I'm gonna again read. When the abnormal cells get old, they usually die. Cancer starts when something goes wrong in this process, and your cells keep making new cells, and the old and abnormal ones don't die. They don't die. And as the cancer cells grow out of control, then they crowd out the normal cells, and then they invade those areas. So it makes your body work harder to get rid of those cells. So then the tumors, and they invade the surrounding tissues. But then the immune system, it convinces, they're smart, they convince the immune system not to attack itself. Because now there's this organism now that's growing inside of you. So it convinces your own immune system not to fight it. Hence why radiation, chemotherapy, you need outside intervention to get to it, to kill it, to destroy it, to get rid of it. This was eye-opening for me. Like, I mean, you hear again, like, but what really is happening in that process? So every one of us has cancer cells at any given time. It's our immune system's fighting it. Our immune system says, that could be anywhere, but your immune system's going, oh, I'm going to grab that. I'm going to suck that in, I'm going to get it out of the body. It's when things in the environment are just perfect for the cancer cells not to die that the tumors start. They clump together, and you get to the point where you have the tumors you have wherever it has invaded. Women breast, men prostate, colon rectal, like I said, and lung. What are our risk factors? Chemicals. I did so much research on this. Wow. 200, this is from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. This is from their website. I went on cancer.gov and American Cancer Society. I did a whole lot of research. This is a small sampling. 256 known substances to reasonably anticipate will cause cancer in our society. This is just the United States, our society. So they allow, the government allows these chemicals to be in our society. Not in other societies, not in other countries. What's our number one? Preventable.
Tobacco.
Right, smoking. My aunt smoked, and she was exposed to chemicals every day. She was a hairdresser. She was a hairdresser. So that was her whole life. So then, the sun. And this was, I was really surprised that there's not more incidences of skin cancer. Like that was lower on the list than prostate, breast, colorectal, and lung. Like lung was higher than skin cancer. And I was like, huh. I was just surprised because how many times, squamous cell. I mean, I had a gentleman today had a squamous cell removed from his leg. But maybe that's not getting reported. That might not, yeah. And are they dying from that? These are more, being diagnosed versus dying from it. I don't know. I'm not sure. But ultraviolet rays. Same family. The wife has a sunbed in her home. and she is bronze as bronze can be. I'm like, wow, yep. But he's the one getting things taken off of his body all the time. He's been under care for 2 years, and he's probably had 6 of these things taken off his body in those 2 years. So we can minimize sun exposure. But again, one person can be exposed to the same sun. One person gets skin cancer, another person doesn't. Our genetic makeup is going to be involved with that as well. Alcohol, they looked at the numbers. So for men, 2 drinks a day, the higher you go, the more incidence of colorectal cancer. Women, 1 drink a day. And so they looked at all of that. So that's another factor. Oh, our lovely country and artificial sweeteners. Yeah, we're like the only country that really has artificial sweeteners. Many of them. Some of them have been banned. But again, doing all this research, and of course it says, well, they haven't proven that it causes cancer. And I'm like, it's chemically made. It alters our chemistry. Sugar, fructose, table sugar, that changes us on the inside. It creates an acidic environment. Cancer cells love acidic environment, and they feed off of sugar. A lot of those cancer cells feed off of sugar. So aspartame, that has invaded so many things. I have article after article on aspartame, how bad it is. It's not there for weight loss. Most people that do diet soda are going to still be heavy. They take the diet soda thinking it's going to curtail them drinking sugar. Water. Our diet, processed foods, red meat consumption, all of part of it. So the higher the red meat consumption, the higher the incidence of colorectal cancer. Why? So I think about that. And meat, beef, is difficult to break down. So we have digestive enzymes in our stomach. We eat the food, it starts breaking down the food. But when it comes to beef, we need extra digestive enzymes to break down the food. Beef stays in our intestines longer. It's going to sound gross, but putrefying. You toot, right? And beef toots smell because they're dying. It's animals that are dying in your gut. And so it takes longer for your body to break it down. So with that, it's sitting in your system longer for those cells to start migrating. Processed foods, holy mackerel. You go to the grocery store and you don't want to go to the grocery store because they say, do the perimeter, get your foods on the perimeter, because once you hit those aisles, it's all processed. All the chemicals, the thousands of chemicals that are in our food. Who likes bacon? There's a lot of people out there that like bacon. The nitrates. Nitrates have been shown, so lunch meats, nitrates have been shown to cause cancer, to cause that process to happen. Hormone regulation, so breast cancer, prostate cancer, hormone regulation, that the estrogen and the progesterone are flipped, and then we have too much estrogen in our body for women, and that can cause cancer at a later age because our body's not getting rid of the estrogen the way the cycle should be. But a lot of women don't like hot flashes, so then they're put on estrogen patches or estrogen hormones because they don't like all of that. So then we're prolonging the process of getting rid of the estrogen. Our foods, soy food has a lot of estrogen in it, and that's processed. So when you look anything, just look at your labels and you'll see soy protein isolate if you're vegetarian. So you say, okay, I'm vegetarian, and you get a boxed food, it's going to have soy in it. Well, soy mimics estrogen, and that's why they say men don't do soy milk, don't take, because it mimics estrogen. Men can get breast cancer as well. Radiation overexposure. So I looked up all these numbers. I had to look up these numbers because I'm like, how much radiation have they shown that makes a difference? And so, a chest, we shouldn't have more than 5,000 mREMs. That's the classification, mREM, R-E-M. So no more than 5,000 in a year. A chest x-ray is 2 mREMs. So dental x-rays, and they're like, oh, I don't want to get dental x-rays, they're 0.02 mREMs. You're hardly getting anything. So then, of course, I'm like, okay, our cell phone. So a dental x-ray is the same amount of exposure you get from your cell phone every day. Yes. Whoa. And I didn't even put it up here. All the radiation that's, not radio, but all the EMFs that are around us, the electromagnetic frequencies that are around us, our 5K, our smart boxes, right? Our smart meters, all that is producing more radiation that we get exposed to. So it's minimal. And then genetics. Yes, people have genetic exposure, or disposition. I put 2 words together there. To cancer. There are genes that are specifically the BRCA gene for breast cancer. Is it turned on? Is it turned off? I'll go into that in a second. But there are genetic factors that people have, that we have. So this is epigenetics. What is epigenetics? Big fancy word. It is our choices, our environment, how they dictate what happens on the inside of us. So the factors that regulate, are we turning on genes, are we turning off genes? So when we started with Vitalio, when did we do our DNA test? You were part of it. Oh, yeah, both of you are. Like 6, 7 years, no, it's longer than 7 years ago. Probably 7, 8 years ago. We started with the nutritional program, and I did a class on DNA. And I handpicked, I know both of you were a part of that. And I did my DNA. And my DNA showed variations that if I didn't make certain choices, I'd be predisposed, that's the word, predisposed to diabetes. And I'm like, no one in my family has diabetes, but that's what my DNA showed. I'd be predisposed to high cholesterol. Yes, that runs in my family. And there was one other thing, and I'm like, really? Oh, with obesity. That was one of the other things. I'm like, really? So, but I've made choices that have changed that trajectory, that have changed the path so I wouldn't get those things. So that's what epigenetic is. We can turn on our genes, we can turn off our genes so that they don't express what it says it's going to express. Epigenetics has been around decades, but the doctor's not going to tell you, you have a choice to turn on your genes or turn off your genes. They're not interested in that because what do they want to do? Make money. Yes. And there's doctors out there that want to help. I understand that. But they're legal drug pushers, right? The legalized drug pushers. So diet, I mean, all of these factors affect our epigenetics. Are we turning things off? So I just had a patient ask me, what's the difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system? So our sympathetic nervous system makes things run. It's our go, our fight or flight. And the way they always explain it is, if you're being chased by a bear, you want blood supply to your muscles, to your heart. You want your heart to pump. You want your lungs to expand so you can breathe, so you can run. You're in fight or flight. Well, our society lives there. Parasympathetic is the calming down. It allows your digestive to work, brings down the heart rate and the breathing. It causes our body, our mind to shut down, to be calm. And so we can be flipped on one side versus the other, or again, balance. Well, if we're always in a state of go, 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 we're affecting that whole cycle. We're affecting that. So are we in positive relationships? Are we communing with nature? Are we doing the things we love? Are we doing self-care? Those are all things that are good for us. Society would say, no, just keep going, keep going, keep going. And I know the majority of people here are in the stage of life where it's calmer. I'm not there yet. But my granddaughter forces me to do nothing. Like nothing. Here this weekend, I had to get the class done. Oh no, I want to spend time with her. I mean, because she just brings me so much joy. So that's like the endorphins kick in and I'm happy and I'm like, this is great. So we need to find more things that are make our body happy. So we can alternate. We can alternate by what we're putting in, what we're exposed to. Let thy food be thy medicine. Would you all agree?
Yes.
Our food is not the way it used to be 20 years ago, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to even say 10 years ago. And now think about where it's going in the future. I don't know if you know this, but many companies now have experimented with bugs in our food to sustain our earth. There's an abundance of bugs, and they don't have to describe what they're putting in your food. And soon we will be eating bugs, and they don't have to tell us that. Yes, yes, pretty crazy.
What kind of bugs?
Crickets, other things. So this is going to be gross, and I'm not picking on Starbucks. But they have a couple of drinks that have red dye in it. But it's not red dye number 40. It's not, it comes from a little larva that's red, and they extract it out of that larva, and that's what's in the pink drinks at Starbucks. It's a bug. It's already there. This is an excellent, write this down. Write this website down. Excellent resource. It's called the Environmental Work Group. It's not a government agency. It is funded by donations. It does so much work for the public. Oh my gosh. Go on there. This is where the Dirty Dozen list comes out every year. They do, it's like a Consumer Reports. But they have it for skincare. They have it for foods. They have it for toxins. I mean, just go on the site. Great, great resource. I got a lot of information out of here. But Environmental Working Group. So, Dirty Dozen. What does that mean? These are the foods you need to eat organically. Due to the fact that it has so much pesticides, it's toxic to your body. So 2024, strawberries, spinach, kale, grapes, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, red and all peppers, cherries, blueberries, green beans, all need to be organic. I know. And it's hard. I mean, the blueberries, I mean, they have organic blueberries. I've never seen organic green beans. I've never seen,
I have,
you have? Where?
yes, in the food line. They're
Really?
in the microwavable bags, and it will say organic
It does? Okay.
green beans.
Okay.
Yes.
Don't microwave it in the bag.
Well, you can do it either way, but that's
Don't microwave it in the bag.
that's how it's promoted.
That's crazy. Organic green beans, and then you microwave it in the bag, and you're getting the plastic from the bag. Sorry. So, those are the ones you want to avoid. Now, do you notice the clean 15? What's the common denominator with the clean 15?
It's like they have a skin on them.
Ding, 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 they have a skin.
Or
thicker skin.
thicker.
Yes, so that, and you have to peel it, right, to get to the,
Am I supposed to be peeling my asparagus?
no.
Okay.
No, that one's
I'm
a
new
clean
to
one.
cooking.
No, that one's a clean one. That you don't need to buy organically. That's saying you don't need to buy these because there's not as many pesticides, that they're not gonna be, that's not toxic. But the Environmental Working Group determines this. They do the research on this. They look at all the sweeteners, all how bad they are. I mean, we've known decades, MSG, right? Causes people's headaches, it's a neurotoxin. And you'll go to Chinese places that says no MSG. Right. It's a flavor enhancer. And they don't say it's monosodium glutamate anymore. They'll name it something else that's MSG. So choose organically. Grow your own. Yeah. Or find someone who has an abundance. I always ask them, bring in your lettuce, bring in your poor, bring in your hungry, right? To the United States. But bring in what your abundance. Obviously, processed food, sugar, you really just want to avoid. Filtered water, bottled water. I mean, they do research on bottled water. Oh, I didn't bring. So we use at home and here zero water filter. It's called the zero water filter. It literally filters everything out so there's nothing in it, zero. It's not distilled water. Distilled is not necessarily good for your gut, but it's called zero water filter. And it comes with a probe that you stick in your water, and I can always tell when it's time to change the filter because it's like, So it detects the parts per million in the water and doesn't tell you what's in there, but it's getting through, and you got to change your filter. Zero water filter. Food colors. I mean, we've known red dye number 40, red dye number 3, blues, green. They're known cancer causing, but they put them in so many foods because they want to make it look pretty. And then I tell patients, read your vitamin bottle. If you're getting your vitamin from Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Amazon, read your bottle, your multivitamin. Centrum Silver, #1 brand of multivitamin that's sold, over 50 or what? Yeah, well, silver. It has red dye number 40 in it because it makes it. Otherwise, it would look gray. The pill would look gray. Well, that's not appealing. Who wants to take a gray vitamin? This was news to me. I knew titanium dioxide was bad, and it's in a lot. Again, read your labels. Titanium dioxide is what makes white white. It makes things bright white. Again, it makes it appealing, but it's toxic. It's in so many things. Clean cosmetic products. So Emily actually gave me this. There's an app called Yuka, Y-U-K-A, that you can scan labels to know what products you're using. Hair, skin. But on Environmental Work, they have a list of clean cosmetic companies nine non-toxic and clean makeup brands. Number 1 is called Thrive. Thrive Cosmetics. So then it also has a place on the website. You can put your brand in. So I put doTERRA, and it'll tell you the risk. Is it toxic or not toxic? And I'm so glad to see that doTERRA was low toxic. Like it was very minimal. But like my makeup brand is called Tarte, and it was low toxicity. So even though it wasn't on this list, I put it in there and it showed low toxicity. So I was like, oh, cool. Bath and Body Works. I did not put that in there, but you can probably tell it's probably not very good for the body. But people love Bath and Body Works because it smells so good, right? And that goes to the next one. Getting rid of candles, air fresheners, plug-ins. They are really toxic. Oh my God. And you're breathing it in, and your pets are breathing it in, and your children are breathing them in, and yow. Yeah, very bad. Very bad.
How can they sell that stuff?
Because our country allows it. Whoever lobbied it, our country allows it. It allows these chemicals. So for an example, and I'm gonna, Fanta, the soda Fanta, the orange soda, you've seen it, and gonna have red dye, orange dye, it's gonna have all those dyes, it's gonna have a billion ingredients in it. But you can get Fanta in Europe, and Fanta has 3 ingredients. It has the carbonation, it has it's orange juice. That's what Fanta was. Yes, but carbonated orange juice.
It's like you can eat pasta here and gain weight, but over there you eat pasta and you lose weight.
Yeah, that's how processed our foods are. But they allow it. Why? I'm not I follow the money. So what can we do? Well, I'm going to talk about oils, essential oils, because essential oils come from the earth. They're the plants of our world that bring about healing properties. So what happens with an essential oil, and I didn't pass these around so I can wake you guys up. Where are they? I'm going to pass around one orange. So, I know all of you know this one, but you're going to take a drop of wild orange, you're going to rub it together, you're going to breathe it in. There we go. So the power of plants. So plants have chemical constituents that make up the plant, and each plant has therapeutic properties to them. Each plant is good for you. Now, they're going to have crossovers, and this is the biochemistry part, and they're going to have similar to other plants, but utilizing the power of plants to bring about healing, because there's healing properties to essential oils. So using your household cleaners, essential oils, I'm going to give you a couple of recipes that you can do. Doesn't that smell like an orange? Mm-hmm. Like an orange should smell? Isn't it great? It's refreshing. Citrus, happy, right?
Yeah,
we're all
right.
smiling. It's a happy oil. It's citrus. I'll go into that in a second. Our laundry and dish detergents. Laundry and dish detergents are, again, bath, shower, lotions, all of that. So I have a couple of patients that need to be gluten-free. They're not celiac, but they need to be gluten-free. And they had cut gluten out of their diet, and we retested them, and the gluten was still in there. And I'm like, where is it coming from? Shampoo. And I'm like, oh my gosh. When you're in your shower, you're using hot water. What happens to your pores?
Open.
They open. Then you're putting this stuff on your head. And who would think that there's gluten, that there's wheat in your shampoo? But there is. And you put it on the head, and the body absorbs that, those molecules. So finding clean. Again, those websites, the EWG is going to be so helpful for that. diffusing essential oils instead of using a plug-in or air freshener in your home. Diffusing. It just smells so much better. You can make your own combinations. You don't have to go by there. But the plug-ins now have made with essential oils. Yeah, but along with the other 1,000 other ingredients that are in there, not just the essential oil. And where are they getting that essential oil? And is it pure? And you can't go by labels. But that's why I stand behind doTERRA, because I've been with doTERRA, I think it's been like 14 years. I really think it's been that long I've been with doTERRA. And I mean, I wouldn't use any other company because I know they stand behind their product. They back their product because they're always doing research and making sure the tree, the orange grove, is in California because that's where it's grown natively. And they get those oranges at the peak harvest time, and then they extract that oil from that orange. And that's where we get wild orange from. So those things are our essential living, but our body weight, our physical activities. So of course then I'm Googling physical activity. Oh, I'm not doing that. I don't know if any of us are doing that. Meaning 150 minutes a week of moderate activity. 150, that's a lot of minutes. And I'm like, wow, when do I sleep? Because sleep is a part of this too. Or 75 minutes of vigorous. So what's vigorous? Let me tell you what all these are. Oh, I'm going backwards. I'm sorry. Vigorous activity. Mowing your lawn is vigorous activity. That was part of it. People say, is walking? No, but keep your body moving. Walking is still good for you. The big thing, weight training is going to be vigorous activity. Sports, vigorous activity. Moderate activity, water aerobics, right? Yes. Walking is just, like I said, overall good for your body, but it's getting that, now if you're brisk walking, you're getting that heart rate up. That's a good thing, that it's getting that heart rate up. But they're like 20 minutes, 5 days a week, or 60 minutes, 3 days, like they had all these numbers and they have done all this research. So, I know I don't get that. But I do know being sedentary and sitting is like smoking. This is all like, this just keeps coming out, keeps coming out, that if you, for every hour you sit, you take 20 minutes off your life. I was like, holy mackerel. They've done the research. I was like, they did a long-term research. And even if you worked out, if you sat for an hour, you were taking, it's the same as smoking. Wild orange. So what oils? Wild orange. Any citrus oil is good at inhibiting abnormal cells. All the citrus, but wild orange was number 1. I was like, cool, I'll be using it. I had gotten out of wild orange. Now, what do you think the next one is? Frankincense. This is actually one of the most researched oils and most published papers is frankincense. This is an everyday one. I always say if I am on a desert island, I can only have certain items. I want running water, I want my Bible, and I want frankincense. And a fishing pole, and my list keeps getting bigger all the time. So the frankincense, what you're going to do on this one, and it is an acquired aroma. It's from the bark of a frankincense tree. And so you're going to flip it over and you're going to put it on the base of your neck. You're going to feel that notch there and you're going to place it right there. So on the brainstem. It is highly anti-inflammatory. And many years ago, doTERRA, before compliance came around, they had, it was, I can't remember the university, but a woman did, the team did frankincense on breast cancer cells. Now this was all in vitro, so this wasn't live, this was in petri dishes. But they showed and published papers which you can't get anymore. I have the paper, but you can't find it anymore. It's no longer on the website anywhere. That showed that the frankincense caused apoptosis. So cell death of the bad cells. It showed it in the petri dishes. So pretty cool. So frankincense in every day. Put it on the tip of your tongue. Hold it on the roof of your mouth for 10 seconds every day. Gets into your brain, helps with brain inflammation, helps with memory, helps with brain injury or brain decay. Frankincense. Frankincense. Bottom of the feet as well. So DDR Prime, I don't have the oil, I have the bottle of DDR Prime. So DDR Prime is a combination of many high potent, helpful cells oil. Frankincense, orange. Linseed is another citrus oil, lemongrass, citrus oil. Thyme, summer savory, clove, and aioli. So this, I take this one every day. It can be capsule. There's also an oil. And I used to take two, I take one. When I burp it, it is an acquired flavor when it comes up. A very acquired. But you can get the oil, put it along your spine, put it on the bottom of your feet, same place, in the notch of the neck. But DDR Prime is called the cellular complex oil because it is bringing about the healthy cells and advancing the healthy cells of your body.
So is there an advantage to the oral or the oil?
It's good internally. It's better internally. So you can make, and I used to do this, I used to make my own capsule because you get more out of the bottle, but dripping 10 drops into a capsule and taking it is just, it got tiresome. So hence why the capsule, yeah. But no difference. No difference. It's the same. The oil and the capsules are the same. Yeah. Antioxidants. What are antioxidants? So antioxidants are substances that capture free radicals. What are free radicals? Free radicals are when our cells go awry. We're exposed, the air we're breathing, the food we're eating creates free radicals. Free radicals are those bad cells that cause decay. Not necessarily cancer, but just decay in our body, causes premature aging, things like that, causes inflammation and disease. But antioxidants are like the scavengers, and they capture them, and they get rid, and they bind them. So I joke about this. I have taken OPC3. It's a powder. I have taken OPC3. We've been in practice coming up on 23 years, at least 20 years. And I really think that is why people don't believe my age. I really do. I mean, I'm under chiropractic care, but I believe because I take that pretty much every day, that's why my skin looks the way it does. That's why I'm still working the way I'm working at my age. So, yes, and I'm going to ask you to, but some of you know what my age is. So you can guess what my age is, but I have a granddaughter, so. But I believe, I mean, that OPC3, if you want to know like what that means, oligomeric proanocyanidins. That's what that means. So they scavenge the free radicals. Yes. OPC3 is another one that has so many research papers out there about it. So much has been published because it's pine bark, it's red wine, it's all these substances together that are good, are antioxidants. Are antioxidants. And another one that is huge. Thousands of published papers, and more so since COVID, vitamin D. How the people that have long-term COVID had lower vitamin D levels. Just, it's across the board. And cancer is a part of that as well. There's thousands of research papers out there about vitamin D, and the higher the levels, the better you are. We're not getting it from the sun because then we talked about radiation, so you have to take it internally. You have to. Our body doesn't produce it unless we're in the sun. And living here on the Eastern Shore and in the winter, yeah, you'd have to be outside for like 3 hours naked. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be doing that, and because the angle of the sun where we live, it just, you're not getting the vitamin D. So you have to take it internally. So then how much should you take? Depends on where your levels are. So I'm gonna, Justine has worked for us for 15 years, and 14 years. And she, when we started doTERRA and we were doing the blood testing, and she won't mind me saying this, I did her vitamin D. We had the inflammation of vitamin D. Her vitamin D was a 4. Now, medical doctors, you go to a medical doctor and they say anything above a 30 is good. Not this day and age. 60 to 80 is where your number should be. She was a 4. I don't know how she was functioning. So we got her on vitamin D. And she's like, oh, this is what normal feels like? And I mean, her numbers were low for many years. She finally found one with K. Has to have vitamin K with it, so your body can absorb it. But we just did it again, and she's 103. Yes, I was like, yes, it took so long, 7 years, but yeah, we're here. Yes. We need vitamin D for over 900 functions of our body. We need it for our immune system, but we need it to help, I mean, our brain, depression, bones, cardiovascular, there's just so many. It's the miracle vitamin. It really is the miracle vitamin. Recipes. Some recipes you can do for a disinfectant spray. Now it always needs to be in glass. You don't want it in plastic because the oils will leach out the plastic, and then now you're getting the plastic in your system. Don't want to do that. So glass or stainless steel. You can drink the oils, meaning not from the bottle, but you put it in your water and you're drinking it, so you're getting it internally as well. But disinfectant spray, so you can use not all of that, but you can do On Guard, which is an immunity blend that doTERRA has. Lemon. Why are most cleaning products lemon flavored, lemon smell? Yes.
Smell.
Because it smells nice. It's uplifting. It's happy. And it's cleansing. It's cleansing. Tea tree is Melaleuca. Antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal is tea tree. Purify is a blend that has all these in it as well. So you can make a blend, or you can make your disinfectant and just put Purify. Roller mix. Now, if any of you want a roller mix, I can make this. Immune boosting roll-on mix. So put it in a bottle, we put all these things, put fractionated coconut oil on it, and you put it on your body. So you're absorbing it, you're getting it into your system, on the bottom of your feet, on your wrist, on your chest. Again, that area in the back. And if you want to take a picture with your phone, you can do that as well. I just saw this guy do that. I can go back to that too. Detoxification. So we've all been exposed, right? We've all been, we're exposed every day. Our bed has formaldehyde in it. We're exposed every day to toxins. So the best thing is minimize your exposure. That's the best thing to do. But we've got to get our detoxification organs working correctly. That was another thing in my DNA that showed that I am slow to detoxify, that my pathways, Krebs cycles, and my pathways in my liver have variants in it. And so that changes how my body detoxes, hence why I'm predisposed to diabetes and cardiovascular disease. Hence my body doesn't process it. So I have to take certain vitamins in a certain form so my body can process it. But GI, please say you poop every day, more than once, because we should be. We got to get rid of the stuff that's in our system that our body's capturing. We've got to get it out of our system. Sweating, getting it out of our skin. Our skin's our largest organ. Getting it out of our skin by sweating. I'll be honest, I hate to sweat. I just, it's not my favorite thing to do. Sweating is not. And especially when you're having a hot flash and you're already sweating, and then you're sweating even more when you're exercising. I exercise because it's the right thing to do. I don't exercise because I love it. And then supporting the liver. So yes, we have a product for that. A detox product. Simple, everyday, non-violent. Because I've been on detoxes, you know, beginning of the year, new year, I'm going to cleanse my system out, go on a detox for 3 days, and it's violent. You never leave the bathroom. It's just coming out of you, and you smell, and it's coming out. This is a nice detox. This is not going to be, you can't leave the bathroom. I'm in a maintenance, so I take one from each, but Master Detoxifier, that's what's all in here. All these ingredients. So it's supporting the liver. It's capturing things. It's allowing the kidneys, so it's pulling it out of the kidneys. But then at night, you take that in the morning, then at night you take the capture and release. And this is all the things that are going to flush it out of your system. So in the morning, you're getting it out of your body. And you're going to notice Brussels sprouts. Really? Cruciferous vegetables. Do you know what cruciferous vegetables are? You've eaten them. Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. Those are excellent detoxifiers. Excellent. Get them into your diet. Excellent. You might have flatulence in the beginning, but after a while, your body will get used to it. Yep. So you got to get rid of what's in there. And this is next year, but I'm going to talk about titanium. Titanium builds up your immune system. I'm not going to say it's a natural antibiotic, but it helps support your immune system to help fight what might be coming your way. And so the ingredients in it, high vitamin A, high vitamin C, and zinc. Those three things together are a bomb together. They're like, woo, building things up. But then you have astragalus, you have quercetin. Quercetin is another immune boosting, white blood cell boosting ingredient. So I will be talking more about immunity next year. So we want our prevention to be heavier than our cure. Because what did I say to begin with? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And so with that, if you don't have the problem, then you don't have to chase after the problem in the aftermath. Now, on your papers, how do you know where you lie? Do you need to detox? Do you have a poor detoxification? We have on our site, and you can scan it here, but you have it on your papers. You can take something it's called a twin. It's called the Wellness Index number. It's looking at 7 functional medicine factors. So it's looking at detoxification, it's looking at your stress, and then it scores each of those and comes up with an overall score. So that overall score we look at. And if you're in the green, hey, you're doing good things. You're keeping those numbers down. And I said everyone should take that yearly because you're seeing where you improved from the year before. So it is how many questions is it? It's about 105 questions. But once you're in it, it's really quick. So you can either QR scan it. I gave you those papers that you can do that. And then we get a 7-page report. And it tells us the areas we need to work on. And it tells tests like what tests you should have and what supplements you should have. So it customizes it for your answers. Where do we begin? One step, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of information. It can be overwhelming. We look at this and go, wow, this is too much. But it's one step. it's one step because you're worth it. You're worth it. We got to take responsibility here. We've got to take responsibility for that. And so we don't want to be the prevention portion, I mean the cure portion. We want to be that preventative. So where do we go? What you can do. You're here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for going through this. You're here because you're educating yourself. And it doesn't matter what age, just keep learning. Taking the twin, knowing where your base number is. Find out where your number is. Know your vitamin D levels. You need to get tested on your vitamin D. You need to know where your D levels are. Most people are not high. They're just not. You just need to know. And if you get it from your medical doctor, then bring them in. I want to see what your vitamin D levels are. And then there's steps towards wellness. Ask me about those essential oils. Ask me about those things. And then what's happening? What are we doing for the rest of the year? Every last Tuesday of the month, I do a lifetime wellness class. So I talk about why continue, where do we go from here, what are we doing? We have our Patient Appreciation Days coming. That is on November 5th. So that's 3 weeks from today. So to show appreciation to our patients and to give to a charity of our community, we're having a party. It is a safari theme. So I am the tour guide and the animal trainer. I don't know if I can control the animals here. We're going to do a make and take class. So I don't know what we're doing we do this every year. We have different items that we make that you can give as gifts, you can use for yourself, typically with essential oils, but I think I'm going to change it up this year. And then classes for 2025. I'll start them in February, every other month, February, April, June, August, November. I missed one. October. Yeah, October. And obviously our site. We have our information on our site. So I thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.